Hey, what's up, my peoples? Today I'm here to talk to you guys about the transit of Venus through the sign of Scorpio. This is happening in the fall of 2016 from September 24th, 2016 to October 19th, 2016. And what does this mean for us as a collective? First of all, what does Venus represent? Venus's energy is all about the five senses. It's all about smell, taste, touch, feeling, things that you hear that are pleasant. It rules the earthly experience as a human being, what we enjoy, how we enjoy that experience here. It also rules love and relationships, one-to-one partnerships with other people, just how we enjoy our time, what makes us really, really happy in life. And then what does Scorpio energy represent? I'm sure most of you guys who know even just a little bit about astrology know something about Scorpio, or you've heard some things about Scorpio energy. How crazy it could be, how obsessive it could be, how it can be all about just sex all the time and things like that. But let me just break it down a little bit. Scorpio energy is all about life and death, black or white. It's very intense because it sees the dark side of life and it recognizes it like right away, okay? And every sign rules a certain area of the body, and Scorpio rules the genitals, okay? That area of the body. Pardon me if this is offensive to anyone, but I'm just being honest here. This is just an astrological discussion. So it rules that part of the body. So this is why people think, you know, dark and dirty and things like that when it comes to Scorpio energy. But really, it's about transformation. It's about really deep transformation. Like, imagine, like, you know, the butterfly coming out of its cocoon. It had to hide away in there for a little bit, and it wasn't so pretty when it was in the cocoon, but once it came out, it's beautiful. You know, think of the phoenix bird, the story of the phoenix bird rising from the ashes, more beautiful and powerful than ever, and stronger than ever. So that is Scorpio energy. Scorpio energy, since I said, you know, it's in touch with the dark side of life, it's ruled by the planet Pluto. And if you look at the symbol for Pluto, I mean, Pluto is nicknamed, you know, like the god of the underworld. And the symbol for him, you know, it does look like he's some sort of evil, like, character that has some sort of, I don't know, like this weird outfit. Maybe I can find a cartoon or a drawing or something that looks like how I envision the symbol for Pluto and how it plays out, you know, as being like a little bit on the darker side of life and the underworld. Ooh, scary, right? So when Venus travels through this sign, Venus, I like to say like this, okay? It's like Venus got snatched up by some guy who is, you know, like on the edge, lives on the edge a little bit, maybe rebellious, maybe like a James Dean type, maybe like a mobster type, a gangster type of guy, maybe even like a pimp type of guy, just being honest. And he puts like a black leather jacket on Venus, puts some fishnet stockings on her, maybe a little leather mini skirt. I know that's some really old school stuff, but he brings out the darker side of her, okay? He puts on some, you know, dark lipstick, red lipstick and nail polish, and Venus just feels really like edgy and sexy in this energy. So this is spread out amongst the masses, amongst us, you know, as far as how we're enjoying life. Now, if you notice, the time of year where Halloween happens, I'm not going to get into the whole history of Halloween, but you know, the images and the decorations and everything that comes out during fall time and Halloween time, a little bit towards the darker side of life, right? So this is the time when Venus transits through Scorpio. We enjoy those things a little bit more. We enjoy haunted houses and Halloween themed stuff a little more. Venus usually travels pretty close to the sun. So usually when the sun is in Scorpio or Libra, you know, or even Sagittarius, Venus is going to be in Scorpio, like during the fall season, during the time when Halloween comes around. So during this transit, yeah, we enjoy stuff like that a little bit more scary movies, maybe some scary fictional books, or maybe even nonfiction stuff, reading it about serial killers and You know, we just become a little bit more intrigued by stuff like that when Venus is in Scorpio. As far as fashion and beauty, which Venus also rules and represents, you'll see the darker colors come out, the darker fall colors, okay? Like I'm wearing some darker fall makeup today. Hopefully I don't look too ghoulish and creepy, but you know, women will be more interested in wearing the darker lipstick color, the darker eyeshadow, maybe looking a little bit more pale along with those darker, you know, eye and lip colors when it comes to the makeup. Hair color, you know, women going to be dyeing their hair darker colors during this time, and also maybe adding some red, adding some purple to it, because those are colors that are associated with Scorpio and with Pluto, the ruling planet of Scorpio, and Mars, the co-ruler of Scorpio as well. Mars is red, Pluto is like a purplish color. I like to envision it to represent that Pluto energy. Even with fashion for men, I mean, I know there's men that wear makeup, so the makeup stuff I explained applies to them as well. But also, guys usually don't really do fashion as big as girls. So I would just say maybe guys, you might see more of the darker colors, black t-shirts, you know, black pants, black, whatever they like to wear. Wear it more of the darker colors, wear more of all black during this time too. As far as relationships with Venus and Scorpio, I like to joke around about this a whole lot, okay? Because I am a Scorpio rising. My rising sign is Scorpio. If you don't know what a rising sign is, I mean, there's so much information out there that you can Google and look up, or go to cafeastrology.com. I have the link down below in my description box to where you can go and see what is a rising sign, and there's so much information on there about astrology. It breaks it all down. But anyway, so I have a lot of Scorpio energy, and so I know what it's like with the dark side of Scorpio energy is like in love, and the light side. So I don't have Venus in Scorpio, but I can explain from the point of view and the perspective of someone with that energy that Venus in Scorpio, when it comes to relationships, is more possessive, is more obsessive, okay? Like, it's like you meet somebody during this time, even if you don't have Scorpio energy, right? I'm speaking as a collective. You may meet somebody during this time when Venus goes into Scorpio and be so obsessed with them, right? Obsessed with them, like, to where you just think about them so much. You can't get them off your mind. You're like, if you text them, you're like sitting there waiting, you're staring at your phone like, are they going to text me back? Are they going to text me back? You know? And if they don't, you might start freaking out and imagining the worst, because Scorpio energy, like I said, it's familiar with the dark side of life. So the mind tends to go there a little more with this energy. So when it comes to relationships, you can be a little bit more, you know, like intense, okay? It's an intense energy in relationships. And like I said, I joke all the time. I'm very sarcastic and goofy. So I will joke about how crazy Venus and Scorpio can be. I'm talking about stalker level to the, you know, if you're leaning towards the dark side, the less evolved, the more negative side of Scorpio energy. Yeah, you can become kind of stalkerish, kind of creeperish, like really staring. Like Scorpio energy is famously known for its stare, its intense stare, because once it sets its eyes on its prey, its target, it has tunnel vision, okay? So anybody with that energy by birth, they see people and they zoom in on them and they get curious. They turn into natural psychologists. They start wondering, what is this person like? What's their name? What's their motives? Okay? So as a collective, we may feel that energy a little bit more when it comes to love and relationships. If you're interested in somebody and you're single, you scope them out, you peep them out, you're like, wow. You may not just kind of look and then have your eyes dart across the room at other people. You may even more zoom in on one person and be intrigued by them, be interested, be curious. And that can come off as creepy to some people, okay, just warning you. But some people, they may really dig that intensity, especially since we're all feeling this at the same time. If you suffer a breakup during this time, Venus and Scorpio energy, you know, if you have this by birth especially, it's hard to let go, you know, because you merge souls with another person. That's what the Scorpio energy is about, merging souls, not just the small talk, not just, hey, I think you're cute, okay, yeah, bye, I'll text you later, maybe. No, it's like you really, really like want to merge with them. You want to possess them mind, body, and soul and spirit. We can all feel this a little bit as a collective, even people who don't have Scorpio energy by birth, but the positive side is really bonding soul to soul with another person. Not necessarily to the obsessive, crazy levels where you want to kill somebody over your man. I'm talking about like, you know, the positive side of like joining souls with another person, to where it's like a psychic and a spiritual connection that's like unseen by the rest of the world, but you know, it's like you two know, okay, you guys both know what you feel, and what you feel is like so much more important than, you know, what you feel for anybody else. You're totally zoomed in on one another, zoned in on one another. That's the positive side of Venus and Scorpio energy. So Venus will be making a couple of aspects during her transit through the sign of Scorpio this year in 2016. The first one, which she made previous to me filming this video, was around the 1st of October. We started out with Venus making a trine aspect to Neptune. So Venus, you know, is love, relationships, enjoyment. Neptune is compassion, spirituality. It's losing touch with the physical world. When it makes a trine aspect, which is very, very positive, these two planetary energies are speaking to one another and meshing with one another and spreading it all throughout the world, right? So it could have been a time during that week, that weekend, where you were just in total la la land with either things that you enjoy doing. Maybe you got lost in some books or some movies. You lost track of time that weekend, but it was enjoyable because you were able to just float in your own zone, really, really focus in on enjoyment of something or a person and their company. I, you know, have some friends that were really, really lost in love that weekend with another person, and that type of energy is so awesome. On a negative side, you know, if you're single and Venus was making this aspect to Neptune, it could have been you were totally lost in love with another person that you just met, and then once that Neptune energy wears off, because Neptune is like a fog, right? It puts a smoke in a fog and blurs out imperfections and anything that's negative, you know, and anything that's like detailed things that we see here on planet Earth, it blurs them out and it totally sends your mind way out there, right? So when that energy wore off within like a week or so after the 1st of October, you could start seeing this person that you thought was just so great and wonderful for who they really are. They're really an earthly being here. They're a human being here, like, and they have flaws. And you can be like, oh my God, like, I don't like them anymore. You know, that's a negative thing that can happen. But the positive thing is really, really just losing touch with reality just for a moment in time to really enjoy yourself or enjoy the company of somebody very special. So that was around the 1st of October, the first week of October, let's just say that. Now, around the 11th of October, a few days before, a few days to a week after, Venus is making a trine aspect, which is another positive aspect, to Chiron. Now, Chiron is an asteroid or a planetoid that's nicknamed the Wounded Healer, and it represents healing, you know, healing ourselves, healing other people in areas of life where we could have been wounded before, whether other people wounded us or we wounded ourselves, other people were wounded in some sort of way. And Venus is love, so this could be, you know, healing when it comes to love and relationships, okay? Lots of great healing, whether you're a single person, you know, if you're single, maybe you're realizing the mistakes that you made in your previous relationships that caused you to be single right now, you know, if you are not enjoying being single, that is. Some people enjoy it, but even if you are enjoying it, some things can just start coming back in memory and coming to mind about past relationships, and maybe you may run into an ex, okay, or maybe, you know, they may contact you and you have an opportunity to kind of come together to discuss what things happened in the past that were really hurtful or harmful, and maybe some apologies can be exchanged. Or maybe not. Maybe you run into someone that you were involved with previously in the past, and it helps you to realize why you are no longer with that person. Maybe they're just a total a-hole and a jerk, and you're like, you know what, now that I saw them again, I'm realizing, like, we were not meant to be together for a permanent, you know, in a permanent situation, okay? That was a lesson in time, and I've learned my lesson. Now it's time to really put closure to this and heal and to completely move on. If you are someone who is in a relationship that is committed, and this Venus and Chiron transit comes along, it can really help you guys to heal from any past situations that you had within your own relationship that's currently going on. Or maybe if you're with somebody but you're still, you know, in the back of your mind still stuck on like a past relationship or past hurt in this relationship, it's time to let it go, okay? This Venus and Chiron energy can really help you to release and let it go. Any type of pain that you've experienced with one-to-one relationships, it doesn't necessarily have to be dating. Okay, Venus and Chiron can help bring closure and healing to that if you really let yourself tap into that energy and understand the lesson that it's trying to bring to you. Now for some generational astrology with Venus and Scorpio. I didn't go through this with the past couple of Venus signs. I forgot to do that. Let me just talk about Pluto and Scorpio, because a lot more of that generation tunes into these astrology channels more than others, because they are like in their early 30s to early 20s, okay? So, Pluto and Scorpio generation is from about 1983 to about 1986. There were times in between there where Pluto went retrograde back into the previous sign, which was Libra, and then went forward again, or moved into Sag, and then moved back into Scorpio, and then moved back again. So that's why I say about 83 to 96. So, if you are born with Pluto in Scorpio, Venus is transiting over your Pluto during this time. When Venus and Pluto come together, especially in the sign of Scorpio, it's like double the scorpionic energy when it comes to love for you. This could be a time where you are experiencing transformation within your relationships and anything that Venus rules. Especially if you were born in the Pluto and Scorpio generation and you were ruled by Venus, which means your sun, moon, or rising sign are in the signs of Taurus or Libra. Okay, I know that's a lot to comprehend, but just follow me, okay? If you have those energies both going on for you at the same time, and Venus is transiting through Scorpio right now, you are really, really experiencing transformation in all areas of life. Well, that's a possibility for you. Maybe even transformation of your appearance. You know, maybe you're for the first time trying like a new hair color, new hairstyle, chopping it off, growing it long, cutting bangs, dyeing it purple or red or something right now. Like, you guys are the ones that will really be experiencing this a little bit more than others. And relationships too, just a fair warning, when Venus comes in contact with your Pluto, it can have you thinking about all kinds of crazy stuff. Okay, like I mentioned before, that crazy stalker stuff, and like crazy like dwelling on the past, like remember that time back 3 years ago when you told me this, or I read this text message in your phone and it was from this chick. Okay, I remember that from years ago. What do you have to say about that now? And then your partner is like, are you kidding me? Like, that was years ago, I forgot. Like, digging up old stuff, because Pluto energy dives really deep, digs out the old, digs out the ugly. If the ugly is still like festering, and I know that sounds nasty, but this is Scorpio energy, okay? It can get down and dirty and dark. If the old is still festering down there beneath the surface in your subconscious, okay, Venus coming in contact with your Pluto will dig out that old relationship stuff. It's like digging up the dead. I know that sounds gross too, but it really is digging up old skeletons you had suppressed down there underneath the surface of you, your soul, your subconscious. Venus and Pluto dig it right back up. So however you handle it is up to you, but I would say just make sure that you use the Venus and Chiron transit from the 11th on, okay, to heal those old wounds. Finally, like, put those old bones back underneath the surface and let them like just stay under there, okay? Don't bring back anything that's dead. Don't beat a dead horse, so to speak. When it comes to old wounds and old relationship stuff, let things be, let things progress into the future. Venus and Scorpio can hang on so tightly, okay? But don't use this energy for that. Use it for letting go, for transforming the current into the new. The old has to be left behind. And remember the phoenix bird rising from the ashes, to be brand new, to be beautiful, to be stronger. Scorpio energy is so strong. So you could be so strong in love right now. Just use the energy wisely. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Venus and Scorpio transit. I will not be doing Venus in Sagittarius on, because I did those at the beginning of 2016. I may do a different transit series from here on out. You guys let me know what transits would you like me to follow every month, and let you know how it's going to affect us as a collective. Don't forget to tune in every single month to your monthly forecast. Also, don't forget to subscribe to keep up with whatever is going on above. You know, the as above, so below. I'm always here to talk about it with you guys. All right? Take care of yourselves. Don't get too cray-cray during this transit. All right. Peace.